Hi, I'm Steve. Just did my first full day as an Uber Eats driver. And then I got tip baited with a loss of a $9 tip.
The Silver Dasher.
Hello, as I mentioned in the intro, I'm normally a DoorDasher. I've only been DoorDashing for a little over 2 months. At the same time as I was doing sign up for DoorDash, I also signed up for Uber Eats. In fact, I did like one trial run. This is the very first week I was experimenting. I was able to do like one Uber Eats delivery. It was a McDonald's order. But since then, I've been learning the gig economy doing DoorDashing. Well, recently, I went in and finished up, qualifications, for Uber driving, just in case, certain things happen. But I decided, since this happened yesterday, that I had to take my kitty cats to the vet for their yearly vaccinations, that I would try to do Uber Eats that afternoon, which I did. So in the following video is my journey of that time. But what happened towards the end, and I hope you go and I'll make note of it, I was in the middle of delivering a PetSmart order. It was a huge bag of dog food. And on my way to that customer's house, the offer came up for $17 for, a 15-mile trip. And I said, please bear with me. I'm naive and new with Uber Eats. And come to find out, it was a shop and deliver, what we call shop and deliver, or shop. I had to go to Aldi's. So when I started out with the Aldi's, this was my second trip at Aldi's that day, so I was a little bit more familiar with how to do this routine. And I was in constant contact with the customers, and like, hey, I'm in line. And then when I got to say, I'm on my way. And according to the time thing, I think I was early delivering the food. When I got to the house had 2 flights of stairs to go up to the front door. So I had to carry the big load, it was 13 items, 3 bags, and 3 huge bottles of water, up 2 flights of stairs to the front door. And then I come back, and that was my last dash. So I'm learning, the app, and I saw the earnings, that people, it's going through tip processing. And I noticed, towards the end, everybody left a tip. One was $1, one was $2, but a lot of, I did 6 deliveries. One was a $1, one was $2, and the others were $5 tips. I said, that's cool. But this last one I just did, kept doing in tip processing for the longest time. And then later that evening, after in the video I got the note that the customer decided not to remove the tip, a $9 tip. And I looked online, saw instances about tip baiting, and come to find out, this is a rampant issue with Uber Eats. Customers removing their tips for no reason at all. Even though you've done everything by the book, but the customer removes. First of all, and I've seen other videos about this issue, why in the world would Uber allow a customer to remove a tip? And I have some theories about that. So go ahead and watch the video that I put together, and then at the end, I'll come back with my thoughts about what's going on and about the app. So, see you in a little bit. Hello. Welcome back. It is Thursday around lunchtime. And as you can see, I'm not in Dasher gear. I'm in Uber Eats gear. So I'm going to give Uber Eats a try this afternoon. Took the keys to the vet this morning. And that was expensive. So anyway, I'm doing this to learn Uber Eats and see how this works. So follow me and learn how we do this. So see you in a little bit. Well, got my first order. It's off to Cracker Barrel. So let's see how this works. And I got to learn how this app works too. So anyway, off to Cracker Barrel and to the customer. See you in a little bit. Well, that was a unique experience. Trying to learn the app. I see some areas where, similar to hot zones and the Cracker Barrel was a red hot zone. There's a few yellow zones around here, so I'm going to follow my instinct and go back to where I usually sit and see how well it's in. But I'm also seeing, zooming out, that I might have to move away from this area. But what I have to say, this is all a learning experience. And what's unique about this particular is I didn't have to take any photos. I just slide to say that I confirmed that I picked up the order. Didn't have to take a picture of the order. And then when I got to the destination, I just slide to confirm that I delivered it. So, still no pictures. So that's unique. The voice on the app sounds very similar to the DoorDash, except to me it sounds a little bit more primitive. I think the DoorDash app is a little bit more refined on that. Also, texting and messaging a customer, you have to hit the customer's name dial and it pops up another screen and you can do it from there. But DoorDash has it all on one screen. You don't have to do anything. You got little icons to speak or talk to or call to the customer, all from one screen. So something to get used to. And what popped up was something called a match. And from what I understand is, it's like a bidding. I think it's like a bidding system. I'll do that order for this amount. Depending with other Uber drivers around here. So anyhow, that was unique. So made according to this, I made $10. But I also found out that tips are can be removed from a customer within an hour after delivery. That's from my understanding has been a big bugaboo about Uber Eats. But lately, I heard from recently that they had an Uber rally up in DC, and from what other videos said, Uber is now going to guarantee tips, at least minimum whatever. And from what I've seen, what they should have done is not allow the customer to remove tips. Once you put a tip in there, and that's it. So I guess that's the way, because there's been rampant fraud or discouragement from Uber drivers that they do the delivery, they get paid, and then within an hour that tip goes away. So very interesting, a little different. Another difference in the Uber app, it is compatible with CarPlay, so you can send your Uber app to the CarPlay, and it has a bigger screen. So, well, on to my first my parking station, which is Cracker Barrel. Let's see what happens if I can get another order. If not, I may have to do some moving. Like I said, this is all new. So, all right, let's see what happens. See you in a little bit. Well, I changed up my strategy a little bit. The town that I live in, very little Uber Eats activity. So I moved over to an area that I'm somewhat familiar with, because it's an area that my wife and I go when, if I remember telling you that every Friday we interchange, when we go out to eat once a week, and first is my wife's turn and then it's my turn. Well, I'm going into that town that has a lot of those restaurants, and sure enough, picked up an order.
In a half mile, take right exit 33B onto I-59 north using the right 2 lanes.
So it's in the area, but it's a little bit further north, so it's 12 miles. So, but it's an offer. It's a Dunkin' Donuts, I believe. So anyway, off to that establishment, and then off to the customer. We'll see you in a little bit. Hello. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I just dropped off that Dunkin' order. It was one drink, but I drove 20 miles further out. I'm in some old stomping grounds. When me and my wife lived at our older house, this is the area that we would take to go to her parents' house for visiting. There was nothing out here, but right now they're slowly building up this area out here. Adding some businesses. It's an exit on the interstate. There was nothing here. Then a Ford dealership opened up. Now they're starting to build. I just delivered to a dental office. This whole area out here is slowly building up. So now I'm trying to work my way back to where I came from. And in that area, that's some real old stomping grounds for me. I used to live in that area when I first moved out away from home, and I had my first apartment. I lived in my very first apartment complex, and had my very first job outside of my very first programming job. In fact, this is when I first got my first cat. Her name was Callie. I loved her. She was my first kitty cat. I adopted her. She was a stray from the parking lot in the apartment complex. She was a pretty tortoiseshell calico. Had beautiful green eyes. But she lived a long time, but then I had to put her to sleep. So, like anything, you love your animals and you love your pets, your fur babies. But they won't live long enough. But think about this. They may not be around for all your lifetime, but you will be around for their lifetime. So think about that. So anyway, heading back to Uber Eats base, so to speak, and see if I can pick up another order. See you in a little bit. Well, just as I got back into the town that I'm working in now, finally picked up an order. I got picked up an order at my wife's favorite barbecue place. She loves this place. I'm okay. I used to like it, but it's just got a little old. But it's taking me the back roads I used to take when I used to live out here when I at my first apartment complex. So I'm going back old school. So anyway, on to the customer, and I'll see you in a little bit.
Turn right on Edwards Lake Road.
So see you in a little bit. Well, I just delivered that barbecue to a high school that when I used to live out here, I drove by it many times. This is the first time I've ever been to the front entrance of that barbecue place. The high school. So now, as I'm in, I picked up a shop and deliver. It's $7, 14 items, something new. But I'm trying to learn this area and try and learn stuff, and especially shop and deliver. So, I'm not trying to be efficient, and I'm trying to be, maximize.
In a quarter mile, make a slight right turn to stay on Springville Road using the right 2 lanes.
I'm just trying to learn this. So, anyway, I think we're going to Aldi's. So, see you in a little bit. Well, it took a while because I had to learn how that shopping app works, and had to weigh food and do alternate picks, and then one alternate pick was not approved or did not answer by the customer, so I had to put it back, and then had to submit the picture of the receipt, but it wouldn't upload because the internet in this area is not good. And then I finally took it, and it's just like, oh my God. So anyway, I'm on the road and on the way to the customer. So we'll see. This has been a unique experience learning, and Uber is taking me everywhere. There is no zone for Uber. It's whatever area I'm in, and I'm pick up, and I might wind up in Mississippi by the time this day is over with. So, so anyway, I'm heading to the customer. I'll see you in a little bit. Well, hey, dear puppy dog. Is this big old bag of dog food for you? Hey, kitty kitty. Hi. Hey, sweetie. What you doing? Say, what you doing? Aren't you a pretty kitty? Whew, finally done. I'm heading home. Kept getting order after order. I didn't get a chance to record or anything like that. Yeah, when I went to PetSmart, picked up a bag of dog food, and as I was going through that, another order popped up, and it was Aldi's. I've been to Aldi's twice today, and that Aldi's was $17. Okay, so man, but it took me out into not quite deliverance country, but almost. I mean, it took me way out, and now I'm trying to get back home, and according to the time, it's going to take me 40 minutes to get back home. But that's because I went to an area that Uber Eats is not very popular in my original area. So I went to an area based on the app that's popular. And the area I picked is an area that I used to live in when I first graduated from college, and I moved out from my parents' house and lived in my very first apartment complex. In fact, I drove right by it. It's still there, and so I was very familiar with that round. But everything is just built up. It's incredible, built up, and also I've been around an area where where my wife and I we used to go shopping around here. This was our number one area to go shopping in restaurants in this area. But since now we live a little bit further away, we go eat closer. Occasionally we do come out here because there's some restaurants out here that they're just not available. For example, there's the Olive Garden, but where we live, they're building an Olive Garden, so we won't be coming out here for Olive Garden anymore. So anyway, so I'm heading home. I found how to got the summary of the day. I'm going to be honest with you. It is, I worked the exact same amount of hours as I would have done in DoorDash where I live. And it's going to be comparable, But the thing is, for me, I was very busy. I was constantly getting something. I never, I'm going to be honest, and I never stopped. The problem is, the reason I just been going further. The customers were further out. Where I live now, I was averaging maybe 8-9 miles, to go. Here, it's averaging 15-20 miles. And yes, and I did take every order because I'm learning this. But the population density is way higher in this area. It's an older suburb of Birmingham. It's an older part of Birmingham. So it's very densely populated. There's a lot of old houses out here. They're doing a lot of. They're expanding. They've been expanding for 30 years. Because I lived here 35 years ago when I first moved out here. This is where I lived, and there's still a lot of places I recognize, but there is so much build up out here. There's a ton of build out in here. So anyway, I'm heading back home, and as soon as I get home, I'll give a brief summary of the day. So see you in a little bit. Well, I finally made it home. Very interesting day. Learned a lot, especially in the area that in my own stomping grounds. Yeah, what a difference it makes when you're in our high density area. In fact, when I made a shop and deliver from Aldi's, the lady in front of me was a DoorDash shopper, and her pay was going to be $40, but of course she had a full buggy. You know, it looked like 50 items. So, but yep, learned a lot. One thing is, the apps are similar, but the nuances, I will tell you this, the DoorDash app, it's more user-friendly, it's more intuitive. It's easier for a brand new person doing DoorDash to use it. The Uber app is a little bit more complicated, a little bit more steps involved, less photo taking. But to give you a summary of what I did today. According to this, I made $57.07 for a total of 6 deliveries, or what they call 6 trips. And I did it. I was online for 4 hours and 33 minutes. But here's what's different. The $57.07 is not the final amount, because I'm looking at the earnings activity. I have my last trip that I did. I only got paid $8.26. But the tip is still being processed. This is where, total of the amount in tip should have been $17.02, but the tip is still being processed. This is where a person can either add to the tip or remove the tip. That's what's the biggest bugaboo about lately when I see in YouTube videos. It'd be people who do Uber Eats. That a lot of people are getting encountered, customers are removing tips. And as I mentioned before, one of the YouTube creators mentioned the Uber Eats conference in DC, that one of their options they're going to do is guarantee the tips. And if the customer takes the tips away, Uber is going to pay the tip. And basically they eat it instead of you. They're, DoorDash, from what I understand, is the #1 food delivery app. Uber is second. And from what I understand, they're trying to improve their app, improve their services to really attract more drivers and trying to get more market share. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little foray. I didn't get a chance to really film much and in between orders, because I was just like boom, boom. But when I was gone, I traveled for a while. So hope you enjoyed it. Learning experience. Tomorrow I'm going to be door dashing tomorrow, even though it's Friday. But I'm going to try the suggestion. I'm going to change mine to earn by time and see if there's a difference. It's in the market that I live in. So anyway, we're going to go call it a day. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, please like the video. And if you enjoyed the content that I'm doing, I urge you to subscribe to my channel and help me grow. Like I said, we recently broke the 100 subscribers. Woohoo! Very recently, and we're on to the 200. So anyway, Enjoy the rest of your evenings, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you made it this far, I appreciate you coming along and sticking around. And let me give you some insights of what has happened since then. Since I saw some videos, contact support and all that, and talk about tip baiting, I did that. I finally got a hold of a person. I told them what the situation, and they verified with the order, and they said, well, this is beyond my control. They're going to pass it on to this other team. And I'll be contacted by email within 6 hours. Well, I got the email. This is what the email says. Hi, Steve. I'm sorry to hear about your experience with the tip adjustment on your recent delivery. I'm here to assist you today. I understand how disappointing this situation can be, especially after putting in so much effort to ensure a smooth delivery. We reviewed this trip and can confirm that the rider hasn't added a tip. Riders have the option to add a tip up to 30 days after the trip has been completed, so there's still a possibility that your rider may choose to add a tip later. Please keep in mind that it is entirely up to the rider to decide whether to add a tip or not. Thank you for your patience and understanding. If you have any further questions or need additional assistance, feel free to reach out to us. First of all, this is a BS answer, because whoever sent this just using a canned answer, because this was not a rider. I'm not doing Uber and delivering people to their destination. This was a food delivery to a home location. So this was a delivery, and I was delivering to a customer, not a rider. So this is the one thing I see the difference about Uber Eats and DoorDash. DoorDash and their app is specifically geared towards delivering, not carrying people around. And this is where Uber is trying to have their cake and eat it too. Believe me, I'm a retired software engineer. I design software. I design user interfaces. And I can tell you that the Uber Eats Uber software is not that good. What they're trying to do is trying to they start off with Uber driving, and they're trying to adjust the app to do the exact same thing for Uber delivery. It doesn't work that well. And you can tell because the voice in there, when I get to says, you're at the drop-off. No, I'm not at a drop-off. I'm at the delivery place. Or the pickup. No, I'm not at the pickup. They're all using taxi or people delivery, picking up people and delivering to their destination. They're using the logo, so it's very confusing as DoorDash for doing the terminology. So they're trying to they're mixed two worlds, and they're not doing a very good job of it. They need to enhance their software. So if you're doing Uber Eats, then that needs to be customized to that genre. And then if you're just doing Uber, being the taxi, deliver. I understand what they were doing. They were trying to save money and put out an app to go out and try to solve, because the logistics are very similar. You go in one place, either pick up food or people or something, and go to another place and deliver. The other issue I had with the app was when you're doing the shopping, what I call shop and deliver, is the app is very clunky, especially when you have to weigh food. But every shop thing I did that day, the app failed. After I uploaded this receipt, it would not continue. I tried to go back and restart. It asked me to restart with the pay thing, with the card and all that. And I've had to re-upload the receipt 4 or 5 times, and then, hey, it uploaded, but I hit submit, and it wouldn't. Finally, like on the 6th or 7th try, each time I did like 2 or 3 shop and delivers that day. Each time I could not get past. It was very difficult to get past the submit from the receipt to go on to the delivery stage. That's a problem. Other things I found. DoorDash integrates with Google Maps very well. Uber Eats does not, or the Uber app. Yes, you can go in there and connect it. I finally figured out how you do that. And that's not you can select Google Maps, and they'll put it up there. But the problem is both the voice activation of the Uber app and your Google are talking at the same time. So you have to turn one of them off. The DoorDash app automatically does not turn on its voice if you're connecting to the Google, if you selected Google Maps. It turns off its in-app voice and it only relies on the Google Maps voice. So I was doing it, I had to either turn off the Google Voice map off or turn off the Uber map off. And the other thing about the voice, you have all kinds of icons on the screen, where you, on the original app, if you're not using Google, to show you the map and all that. You have all these icons to, for the help shield and all that, but you don't have the icon to turn the voice on and off. You have to go and click the little top navigation. It's not very intuitive. Click that and it expands out. You can see the directions. And then there's the voice cancellation, speaker, turn the speaker on and off. That needs to be on the app screen where the map is, like DoorDash does it, and like Google Maps does it. Very confusing. So, yeah, I can tell, looking over the stuff that what Uber Eats drivers, their frustration, and when I looked at it, so I've seen several, I lost this tip, I lost that tip. Like one DoorDasher, talking about the Uber Eats, why is that an option in the first place for the customer to remove the tip? That may be a nomenclature in the taxi world where you can later on, you got 30 days to add a tip. Who in the world waits 30 days to add a tip to ride, quote, ride, that happened 30 days ago? You're not going to remember that. And the other thing is, why give that feature in the first place? DoorDash doesn't. The only option DoorDash does is gives the customer the chance to add more to the tip, not remove. Now you can see why DoorDash is the number one food delivery service, and Uber Eats is not, is 2 or 3. Now I know recently, based on some other videos I've seen, that Uber Eats had a big conference, whatever, up in Washington, D.C., and everybody's been announcing the new changes there. And one of them is the tip cancellation issue. And from what I understand, is if a customer drops the tip, then Uber will pay the tip to the driver. I'm going to be honest with you, that's stupid. Uber is going to take money out of their own pocket to pay the drivers. Now, granted, for the drivers, that's great news. But as a business model, that sucks. You just need to remove the option of tip removal. Yeah, I can understand if you're a passenger, you hired an Uber and you go, and then after the ride, then you're going to give a tip. Always allow them to add tips at any time, but don't give the option to remove the tip. That does not make sense. So I'm sure this subject has been talked over and posted over ad nauseum by many people. But as for me, as a first-time Uber Eats driver, there was a lot eye-opening situations on this. So, Uber, if you want to improve your market share in the food delivery service, you need to do the following. 1, you need to optimize a separate app or optimize the app that if you're doing deliveries, that's optimized for deliveries, not trying to mismatch and trying to be the master of everything. Well, you wind up being the master of nothing. 2, remove the option of tip removal. If the customer doesn't want to give the tip right away, that's fine. Don't give the tip. Just pay them the base rate. But then give them the option to add a tip. But once they add the tip, they can't remove it. So, anyhow, this is very frustrating. Will I continue to try Uber Eats again? Probably, because the place where I live, Uber Eats is not popular. It's not very. So where I went to my old stomping grounds in the area of Birmingham, and it's hopping. So does this one bad delivery hurt? Yeah, it pissed my wife off. You go through all the trouble, and you get nothing for it. So anyway, thank you for sticking around. Like I said, I'll repeat myself. If you like the video, please select like. And if you like what I'm doing for the channel, please subscribe. And please comment on what your thoughts about what I just said, or share any stories about, what has happened to you. So anyway, I thank you for coming, and I'll see you in a later time. So have fun.